Promoter Herb Simmons interviews Hacksaw Jim Duggan today on SICW Wrestling Explosion. Hello, I'm Larry Matisick. Of course, everybody remembers Hacksaw Duggan from the heyday of the WWF. What a colorful and popular performer. He visited the East Carondelet Community Center recently, and that gave Herb a chance to chat with Duggan. He's a true character with a fascinating history in this crazy business. I think you'll enjoy their talk, along with action both old and new. It's another fine program for Wrestling Explosion right after this. Once more, the exciting 2013 season proved that the Gateway Grizzlies are an important part of the St. Louis and Metro East sports scene. Every game is fun for fans of all ages, hustling and hard-hitting. The Grizzlies always provide plenty of bang for the buck. In addition, the GCS ballpark is the perfect place to enjoy baseball. The organization, the facility, part of our community. Baseball is America's game, and the Gateway Grizzlies do it right. Keep in touch with new developments. Go to gatewaygrizzlies.com.
Unique and affordable gifts and collectibles on the internet are available at the Black Bear Haversack Trading Post. Go to blackbearhaversack.com. Semi-precious stones, bone horn and soapstone items, abalone shells, genuine coyote and water buffalo teeth pendants, products for Civil War, medieval, and Renaissance reenactments, and so much more. For a 10% discount, mention SICW number 7 when you place your order. It's blackbearhaversack.com for top quality at reduced prices.
It's Belleville's Bobby D against two-ton Tony Raze. Lockdown Tony Raze. Pick the nickname you like. Tony Raze on the right, Bobby D on the left. Side headlock by Bobby D on Tony Raze, the referee Jay King. Tony Raze, a tough guy. He's mean, he's rough. He's not afraid of anything. Yeah, he's not a body beautiful, but I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of guts and he's got a lot of spunk. Bobby D, well, Bobby D's not afraid of anything either. Good amateur wrestler. He's translated into professional. He's managed to find a good feel for what works for him. Sometimes he's a little rough and tumble, and sometimes he may cut some corners. But generally, he's a good wrestler. And he's come up with a lot of victories lately. Let's see if he can come up with one over Tony Raze. No easy task. As Bobby D pushes Tony Raze back into the corner and then chops him. Just as Tony Raze did. Ooh, Tony says, ouch. Crowd yells at Tony Raze, and Tony doesn't like that. Get off my back, Tony Raze is thinking. He could read his mind. Packed house at the East Carondelet Community Center. The crowd chanting. How about that? Bobby D. Bobby D. They like that. Well, he's from Belleville. Good place. I think even Herb Simmons, Grant Murphy'd agree with that sometimes. Arm twist, chop, another chop to Tony Raze, and Tony says, I'm getting tired of this, and he slashes back at Bobby D, and now we have a chop fest between Bobby D and Tony Raze. Woo. Tony Raze pushes Bobby D to the corner and then uses that full body weight. Whoa, there's a lot of body weight there by Tony Raze, and then a flying mare, and a chop to the back by Tony Raze. Tony Raze bounces off the ropes, kick to the head of Bobby D by Tony Raze, and that crowd hoots and hollers at Tony Raze, and Tony's got rabbit ears. It bothers him. Punch to the head by Tony Raze on Bobby D. He grabs Bobby by the throat. Tony Raze, whoa, he's throwing that rule book right out the window. Clothesline, well, that's legal. Doesn't matter if it's legal, it hurt. Come on. Oh, look at that. Clap for him now, says Tony Raze. That's what bothered him when they were chanting Bobby D, Bobby D. Tony Raze said, well, clap for him now, chant for him now. Oh, Tony Raze yanks on the face and nose of Bobby D. That's no way to go to the nose doctor. Ooh, that hurts. Ooh, makes my sinuses sting. Tony Raze, a couple punches to the head, little rabbit punches. Then he pushes Bobby D into the corner, bounces off the ropes, bangs his hip into the head of Bobby D. Ooh. He starts chanting again. They chant back at him. And he just stands on the chest of Bobby D. Tony Raze certainly having his way right now with Bobby D. He's found a spot that he can attack, and he's taking advantage of it. Forearm, a punch to the head by Tony Raze. Once more, that crowd packed in here, so when they were chanting for Bobby D, that made it even worse on Tony Raze. Aggravated the heck out of him. Here he comes charging off the ropes again. Whoa! and Bobby D outmaneuvered Tony Raze. He saw that big tank come charging across the ring, and he says, I'm ducking. He got underneath, and Tony Raze took a spill over the top rope, and whoa, flying over the top rope. You talk about having some courage. Bobby D, one of those Mexican lucha libre high-flying moves. I think technically it's called a plancha. But he went flying over the top rope, and he nearly broke his own back, but he certainly took Tony Raze out, and he thrilled this crowd here in East Carondelet. And Bobby D says, by golly, he wants to fight. I'll fight with him. And he slams. Whoa, no. Tony Raze blocked it. And Raze then bounces the head of Bobby D on the ring apron. Greco-Roman back body drop onto the apron by Tony Raze. Raze roughing up Bobby D. Bobby D had his moment, but now here's Tony Raze coming right back. And I think this is probably the meanest that we've seen Tony Raze. I think that chanting really bugged him, got under his skin. Bobby D taking a bit of a beating right now from Tony Raze. Raze throws D, pulls him outside the ring. Oh, we're thinking that Randy Orton DDT through the ropes maybe? Well, Bobby D says, I don't need to see that. He flies up over the top, catches a sunset flip. Tony Raze hangs onto the ropes. Jay King kicks his hands away. Count of one. Tony Raze nearly got pinned. He thought he had the ropes. The referee kicked him away from the ropes, and he nearly got himself pinned. Bobby D fighting hard now with those chops to Tony Raze. Raze reverses a whip into the corner. Backdrop by Tony Raze on Bobby D. That size difference really is playing, I think, a big part in this match. I think that extra weight, sometimes you give away 50 pounds, 60 pounds, maybe more to an opponent, and you're in trouble. And right now, Bobby D's in serious trouble because if Tony Raze can come up with much more punishment, Bobby D, he's going to get pinned. And that's going to disappoint the crowd here, who really have been in Bobby D's corner throughout the match. Whoa! Nice little small package by Bobby D. And Bobby D with a wrestling move. My, how about that? And good wrestling triumphs over Roughhouse Tactics as Bobby D with a small package cradle gets the pin on Tony Raze. How about that? Out of nowhere, smart wrestling, good wrestling by Bobby D. And the crowd begins to chant again, and now Tony Raze is mad again. The bell's already sounded. The victory belongs to Bobby D, but Tony Raze wants to leave a message for Bobby D. Tony Raze punishing Bobby D, but the victory belongs to Bobby D from Belleville.
The sensational new book by Larry Matisick is on sale now. The 50 Greatest Professional Wrestlers of All Time, The Definitive Shoot. Who was the best and why? Who's not on the list, and why not? It's a fun read with tales of the greatest and those who were close. Get the inside stories about pro wrestling. Remember, Larry's other books, Wrestling at the Chase, Brody, and Drawing Heat the Hard Way, are available too. And get the hot bestseller now, The 50 Greatest Professional Wrestlers of All Time. This is the one that every wrestling fan needs.
For the best deal on pre-owned cars and trucks, check out King Auto Sales in Cahokia, Illinois. Buy here, pay here. It doesn't get easier than that. Easy terms and financing on the spot for the best deals on all makes and models of pre-owned cars and trucks. You can't beat King Auto Sales, 2915 Camp Jackson Road, Cahokia, Illinois. That's King Auto Sales in Cahokia, where the customer comes first. Phone 337-7050.
Jim, I know you're excited. We're excited that you're here with us at the SICW. And I got to tell you, we've tried to hook up several different times, but you're a busy man.
Yes, sir. Thank goodness. Last weekend I was up in New York City for the Comic-Con. Had a great time. And every once in a while, the WWE brings me back. And I get a chance I just came back from Newfoundland. Folks would be surprised how popular wrestling is all over the world. It's a great night out.
Well, and you can see how popular it is right here in East Carondelet with the SICW fans. And we are proud to give you here. But I want to ask you a lot of us has followed your career for many, many years. And this foreign object that you bring into the ring. Tell us
It's a USA board there, Ern. It's not a foreign object.
There you have it. USA all the way. Tell us how that came about.
Well, you know, back in the old days, it was a very rough business. You know, in the early 80s, I was out wrestling in West Texas, you know, in the fans. I was a bad guy. Imagine that. No! But the folks would punch at you, they kick at you, and they throw stuff on you, and I was wrestling Bruiser Brody. The guy
Bruiser Brody. Right here.
Well, Big Brody comes up, he looks at me, he goes, "Kid," he says, "if you carry something to the ring, carry something you can use. Forget the feathered boas and sequin robes." Well, there's a piece of wood. So I picked that up, I went to the ring, it was like parting the Red Sea. I came out waving that and hollering, boy, the folks got out of the way. And 30 years later, I'm still carrying the board.
Still carrying the board, and it's still swinging it every now and then, as we well know.
Well, it's a lot easier than carrying a 10-foot python, I'll tell you.
There you go. And speaking of your career, I know through the years you fought many, many people. Tell us who, if you had to do it over again, would be that number one match.
Well, you know, growing up in upstate New York, the highlight of my career was wrestling in Madison Square Garden, New York City. I was a young guy coming to the Garden. You see your name up on the marquee in New York City. And I had the privilege and honor to be wrestling Andre the Giant, main event, Madison Square Garden. It was the highlight of my career. And I tell you, folks, he could be an irritable giant.
I'll tell you, a year or so back, we had another individual here right in this very ring that I know you had battles with over the years. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. How was he?
Ted DiBiase, yeah, actually a very good friend of mine now. There's only a few of us that have been around 30 plus years. You know, Hogan, Flair, Ted DiBiase, Honky Tonk, myself, Jake the Snake. There's just a limited number of us still around. But Ted actually inducted me into the WWE Hall of Fame, and I probably wrestled Ted thousands of times all over the world. I mean, from Madison Square Garden to the Superdome to, a small little town in North Dakota. We wrestled all over the world, and, just a second generation guys, a guy that grew up in the business. He was just a great wrestler, a little more polished than the rest of us.
Well, I mean, you had, like I said, battles all over. You and I have tried to hook up, I don't know how many times I call you and you say, Herb, I've heard so much about the SICW. I want to be there. And finally we've got it. And when I put it out there through our good friends at Missouri Wrestling Revival, I mean, it was like shockwaves. Hacksaw coming back to Illinois here at the East Rongalette. The other day... The other day,
feel good.
I know. The other day you had a radio interview, several of them that you've done. Everybody wanted to have you on the early morning program. One of the questions they asked you was, if you had to wrestle somebody today, who would be that comparable person you would like to wrestle?
Well, actually, I thought Ryback would be a good matchup. I mean, he's a fighter, a brawler. Brother, you might laugh now, but 25 years ago, I'd take that young boy down. Excuse me.
I'm not Ryback.
He's a great wrestling talent, no question about it. But back in the day, you had a lot of guys like that running around. Bruiser Brody, of course, one of the biggest, probably the best big man ever in our business, Bruiser Brody.
Oh yeah, he was a good friend of ours. As you know, Mr. Matisek over there, you and Larry go way, way back, and he's the one that introduced me to Bruiser Brody.
Just one way back, not the way back.
We don't go way, way back, yeah. But
just one way.
The other thing, you talked about the business in general the other day, the difference when it was starting out and what the boys out there that are traveling now. No comparison, is there?
No, back then it was a different business, but everything evolves. As the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball has changed, WWE has definitely changed, and they're kind of the face of professional wrestling. But folks, there's so much great wrestling out there besides the WWE. Companies like you all that give folks traditional championship wrestling that you all grew up with, A family-friendly show without all the obscene gestures, with all the profanity, great wrestling, and that's why you guys are so popular.
We appreciate that. Of course, it always helps when we bring a legend into town, which we try to do all the time. And I got to say, when Hacksaw come into town today, I was putting it on Facebook. I think we had the stalking you. I said he's taken off, he's landed, he's at the hotel, and he's in town. So we had a lot of hits on that.
Well, I started that social media myself. My daughter's got me a smartphone for last Christmas, so I'm on Facebook and Twitter trying to keep up with the young kids. But it's kind of addicting, actually, isn't it, bro?
Oh, it is addicting. I still haven't figured it all out. You said something on the radio program the other morning also. You don't have, when you were with the WWE, there was no health insurance, there was no retirement, no benefit. So when you talk about how rough it was back then, all the glamour that's out there now, unless they're investing their money or saving it, they're in trouble.
Well, so many people see the negative side of professional wrestling. They see the movie The Wrestler. They hear stories about Scott Hall. I've been in this business for almost 35 years now. I got my 25th wedding anniversary coming up this year.
Congratulations.
I've never been to rehab, not for booze, not for drugs. I've never had a felony arrest. I have 2 daughters, one in college, one in high school. It's been a good profession for me. I'm tired of hearing all this negative stuff about wrestling. Sure, there's no pension. Sure, there's no health insurance. But it's not a surprise. You know what you get into it. So save your money!
And I got to tell you, fans, Hacksaw and I walked outside a few minutes ago.
The gold Rolex watches, the diamond earrings,
Just a 2x4. But he walked outside a while ago with me, and all of our first responders, the policemen and the firemen are out there, and he walked around and shook their hands. He had your father was in the law enforcement, you said, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. He was a police officer for 42 years, my dad. So I grew up in a law enforcement household, yeah.
Well, I thought that was great. Here we walked outside and shook hands with them and thanked them for the service that they do. Just the same as we do, Jim. It's a pleasure to have you here in East Fond du Lac, Illinois. In all the years that a lot of them grew up on watching you, you were always the household favorite. I know I'm speaking for everybody here tonight. What do you say? When you talk about the legends, 2x4s out there, it's always, and I'm sure we'll have you back. We're going to be putting together another Legends show, and I know your schedule is going to be busy, but you see now, hometown atmosphere here, they love the Hacksaw.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. I tell you, it means an awful lot for a guy like myself to be remembered after all these years, and for you folks to come out here and give their own hole in the USA. I just want to say thank you for all the years of support. And let's have some great wrestling, Herb!
There you go. Very good. USA!
USA! USA!
Unique and affordable gifts and collectibles on the internet are available at the Black Bear Haversack Trading Post. Go to blackbearhaversack.com. Semi-precious stones, bone horn and soapstone items, abalone shells, genuine coyote and water buffalo teeth pendants, products for Civil War, medieval, and Renaissance reenactments, and so much more. For a 10% discount, mention SICW number 7 when you place your order. It's blackbearhaversack.com for top quality at reduced prices.
For music and fun, the place to party is Pop's nightclub and concert venue in Sojay. From Bruno Mars of the first U.S. tour of Nickelback to Flogging Molly or the Insane Clown Posse, 30 years of memories pack Pop's concert venue with more made at every news show. And there's a party at Pop's nightclub every night, a melting pot of friends enjoy the best in dance, rock, pop, and top 40 music until 5:30 a.m. Plus add a full game room. Check out all the action at popsrocks.com. Then and now, the place to party is Pop's in Sojay.
Let Custom Truck Upholstery give your vehicle a facelift. Visit us on 707 North 20th Street in East St. Louis, Illinois. Custom Truck Upholstery merges old world craftsmanship and attention to detail with the latest in modern technology to make your car, truck, boat, or motorcycle look like new. Call Custom Truck Upholstery at 618 875-9850.
Bruno Sammartino.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been close friends.
Spike Huber always was a popular performer in St. Louis. He never quit and was loaded with fire. Here's Spike against scrappy Eric Embry from September 25th, 1983.
Delivered a few backdrops like that.
It's very good if you're back, that thing, especially early in the morning.
To say the least. We mentioned Bruno. We'd be remiss not mentioning his son, Bruno Sammartino Jr., who's wrestling in, I think, the Georgia, Ohio area now.
Yes, he's down in Georgia, and he's doing very, very well, and we have a lot of good talent. He's a very good kid, and he's young, and powerful kid, and a good wrestler, too.
And there's two good wrestlers in that ring right now, and Spike Huber and Eric Embry. Embry, he really wavers between that junior heavyweight and heavyweight division. Look at Huber just muscling up and flinging Embry around. Spike Huber paid his dues, Dominic. Fought his way from the bottom up.
He's well put together, Spike. Good arm, good legs, good chest, and good wrestler.
And a good heart.
And good heart, yes.
Huber pitched to the ropes. Flying tackle by Huber. Oh, Embry comes up slowly. He's waiting. Body slam by Embry. Good move by Eric Embry. Flying elbow drop misses. Huber. Oh, scoop slam or arm drag, whatever you want to call it. He whipped him over.
Spike, I think, is watching his knee a little bit. What happened before, I think he favored his knee a little bit.
That's something he's going to have to be concerned about in that Texas death match against Tully Blanchard. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, falls don't count. Anything goes, no time limit, no disqualifications. The end comes when one wrestler or the other cannot go on.
You know that, Larry, that's a very, very nice match because you can do anything. You can punch a guy in the nose anytime you want. You want.
Really, the referee, on one hand, has a very easy task. He just stands there, counts three,
and watch,
maybe.
Yes.
And if there is a fall, there's a 30-second rest period after which each wrestler must be able to continue. There could be 2 falls. There could be 22 falls. It doesn't really matter.
It can be it's 1 hour time limit or
no time limit.
There's no time limit.
Makes it even harder.
It makes it hard, yes.
Embry pitches Huber to the ropes. Huber stumbles down. Caught that knee very badly. Embry working on the knee. That same knee that was hurt once before by Tully Blanchard. And now Huber in a bit of trouble. He leans into Embry, pushes him into the corner. A dangerous move. Oh, and Embry gouges the eyes. Spike Huber in some trouble here, as Dominic mentioned. Spike's been favoring that knee a little bit. It's been a few weeks, but that knee's still very tender. And you can bet that every wrestler knows it.
Yes, they do. You know, especially when you wrestle, like you're going to wrestle Tully Blanchard, and you know that's the only thing you're going to watch and attack that knee most of the time.
Embry with the knee drop. It was on the chest. Had it been on the throat, that's an automatic disqualification in this state. Embry hooks the head of Huber. Huber spins out. Nice. Good move, right, Dominic?
Good move. Good wrestling move.
You know, mentioning one of the things in that death match, and I'll get your opinion because you're a guy who's, I think, been in a few over the years. I seem to remember one involving you and Ray Stevens in the Cow Palace in San Francisco a few years back. But at any rate, sometimes, while a fall doesn't mean you're going to win, it doesn't point you toward a win. Maybe it's a good idea to get a fall now and then to catch a breath. Would that be right?
Well, you do. If you can take a fall and then back up a little bit, you take a little rest. But like you say, if you're in a good condition, man, you can go an hour, you can go 90 minutes, it don't make a difference. Nice suplex.
Excellently delivered by Eric Embry. Embry really giving an excellent account of himself, just as Al Perez did against Tully Blanchard. A couple of good, hard-fought matches. Nice saddle suplex by Embry.
And Huber. Smile, too.
Embry showing good strength for a man who's not that terribly big. You say he's not big, he weighs 220-some pounds. Not a big man. That shows a wrestling mentality.
Well, if you go against Brody and men like that, it's a different thing.
5 minutes have elapsed, 10 minutes left.
Spike Huber, the man who never quits, comes off that rope with a forearm smash to Embry. Embry clubs Huber from behind. Embry with a knee left. Down goes Spike Huber. Huber really getting in trouble. Is it possible, Dominic, when you get in the type of situation that Huber and Blanchard are, that you start looking ahead? And maybe Spike didn't pay quite the attention he would have normally paid to this match because he's thinking to October the 7th and a Texas death match. And
I think probably he does. But the same thing, I can see Spike face. He's thinking what's going on there. He's thinking the match is going to come up, but he's thinking here what's he going to do.
Whoa! Tremendous slam by Huber, plucking Embry right off the second rope. And Spike Huber rips into Eric Embry. Spike Huber grabs the arm. Embry whipped to the ropes. Embry goes flying. Compliments of Spike Huber. Drop kick by Spike. Oh, right in the mouth. Huber grabs Embry. A coming knee drop, jamming the spine right into the knee. And I mean, he drove that spine in there. Huber hurls him to the ropes, catches him. Oh, he has him up. The crowd yells, spin him. And Spike Huber sends Eric Embry for a ride. The airplane spin by Huber. Poises, look out below. Reverse power slam in the bridge. Count of 1, 2, and 3.
Beautiful.
How did he look to you, Dominic?
Beautiful.
Once he got it together. There's that airplane spin. Huber whirling Embry around and around and around. Now watch when he has the man so dazed, so dizzy. Look at those arms coming out. Embry really lost now. Look how loose those arms are. Now watch Spike Huber drive the nail into the coffin with the reverse power slam.
From the World Series champion Tigers in '45 to the Gateway Grizzlies to the '03 State Tournament Belleville East Lancers. A tradition in baseball and an even longer tradition in fine furniture and service. Miller Furniture, 1004 East Main in Belleville.
The sensational new book by Larry Matisick is on sale now. The 50 Greatest Professional Wrestlers of All Time, The Definitive Shoot. Who was the best and why? Who's not on the list and why not? It's a fun read with tales of the greatest and those who were close. Get the inside stories about pro wrestling. Remember, Larry's other books, Wrestling at the Chase, Brody, and Drawing Heat the Hard Way, are available too. And get the hot bestseller now, The 50 Greatest Professional Wrestlers of All Time. This is the one that every wrestling fan needs.
When someone like Hacksaw Jim Duggan talks respectfully about what your promotion does, it's a great compliment. And I know Herb Simmons looks at it as a challenge as well, a challenge to keep up the good work. Certainly respecting the grand tradition of St. Louis wrestling has been successful. Mix a little old with a little new, and hard-working talent makes for excitement. Now, please note the final East Carondelet card of 2013 is Saturday, December 14th. It'll be a terrific lineup, and count on action right here on television every week. See you soon.
Oh,